And Al-Hafidh ibn Kathir rahimahullah, the Al-Mufassir, Imam Al-Mufassir, in explaining this ayah, when Allah says, "Hasib an-nas," do people think? He says this is a question, but in a way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is disapproving. That certainly that's not the case. If this is what people think, this is not the case. Allah will test the people, He will test His servants, and in terms of how much iman they have. This is what the purpose of the test is for, to see how much iman they have. And the ones who will be tested most are the ones who have the strongest iman. And people are tested according to the level of iman. As in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is what Ibn Kathir is saying. That the ones who are most tested are the Anbiya and the Salihun. Because the Anbiya have the highest level of iman, so they have go through the greatest test. And if we look at the lives of the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we see what they went through. Every one of them. They went through great struggles with their people. And why? Because they had the highest levels of iman. And after that, as-salihun. We find the people who are the righteous, they go through the most strongest test. And then people according to the levels of iman. So a person will be tested according to his level of iman, according to this hadith. And then he says further, Ibn Kathir, when Allah says that وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, that indeed we tested those before them, so that Allah sees those who are truthful and Allah sees those who are liars. So Ibn Kathir says here that those who are truthful in their claim, so we claim we are Muslims, we claim we are believers, right? So Allah will test this claim of iman from those who are liars in their claims. And Allah, of course, Allah knows who is truthful. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not know? He knows this. But Allah wants for us to see this ourselves. And then, لِيَعْلَمَ, so here, that so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to test or prove the claim of the people. So this is a reality and a fact which people will experience, and nobody will get away from this. So if anybody is claiming to have iman, will be put through test in their lives to show whether they are truthful in their iman or not. And it's of course very easy for people to make this claim, isn't it? That we all believers, we have iman and we have belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as soon as some hardship, some difficulty comes, what happens to people? This is when the real iman comes out, whether they have that real iman or not. And we're seeing this today. We're seeing this today, and we'll see more as time goes further, that people, the reality of the people will come to light, whether they're really believers or not. And also in another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. This is in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah 25. Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah 25, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ. We will test you with good and bad. We will test you with good and bad. That's tribulation. Okay? So that we will test you sometimes with hardship. Allah will sometimes test you with hardship. And other times, Allah will test us with good times, with blessings. So it's also a test as well. It's not only when you going through hardship as a test, but also when you are experiencing blessings and favors from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether you are grateful or whether you are ungrateful to Allah azza wa jal. And also whether in times of hardship, if someone is patient or someone loses hope and despairs in Allah azza wa jal. So they say here that Allah will test us with good and bad. With good and bad. With easy times, okay, when you are healthy and wealthy and to do well, Allah will test you how you are during those times, whether you are grateful, whether you are neglectful, whether you are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also with health, when you are healthy and well, what do you do with that? Or when you are ill, if you are patient, if you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not with wealth and poverty. So there is test, fitnah for the one who has wealth, and there is fitnah for the one who is poor. And with halal and haram, how you deal with that. and also with obedience. Allah will test you how firm you are in the obedience to Allah Azza wa Jal, or in disobedience with sins, how strong you are in keeping away from sins, and with guidance and misguidance. These are all of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test us with, all of these things. So this is the first point I'd like to make here, that fitna is a fact of life. Allah Azza wa Jal has told us He's going to test us, so we shouldn't be surprised when the tests come. So what we need to know, what we need is to be prepared for them and learn to deal with them. And if we look in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, many of the books of hadith, they have chapters dedicated to this topic. Books of Kitab al-Fitan. For example, in Sahih al-Bukhari, you'll find a chapter which discusses fitan, trials and tribulations. In Sahih Muslim, there is a chapter dedicated to al-Fitan, trials and tribulations. Because this is an area which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam explained to us. We know that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not leave us ignorant and did not leave us without the necessary tools to protect ourselves. So He told us and He prophesied and He explained to us that trials will come to us and that these trials will increase and these trials will come a certain time like waves, one after another, and that these trials will vary. So Rasulullah told us many things about this fitan. Just as an example, in the hadith of Sahih Muslim, Rasulullah said that, he said, "Badiri bil a'mal." He said, rush to do works before that fitan, trials come to you, which would be like the part of the dark night. So you can't see it coming. Like, at the night when there's no light, you can't see what's ahead of you, what's around you. So it'll be like that. And during that time, a man would be a Muslim in the morning and a kafir in the evening. A Muslim in the morning, a kafir in the evening, or he would be a believer in the evening and an unbeliever in the morning. It shows that the fitan, the tribulation will be so great, a person will wake up a believer, and as a result of the changes, as a result of what he sees around him, he will disbelieve by the time he comes to the evening. Or vice versa, in the evening he may be a believer, and in the night, as a result of what is happening around him, he may wake up as a disbeliever. This is the severity of the fitna that is going to come. We may not have reached that level. We may not have reached that level now where people are disbelieving morning and evening, but undoubtedly we are getting there. We're getting closer to this time. And we see, even in our times, brothers and sisters, that people, subhanAllah, people we've known on Iman, people who are calling to Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah, who have now turned their backs on the Quran and Sunnah and are now calling to deviation, or even worse than that, are calling to kufr, disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened to these people? I wish we need to learn, because these were people, they know people who memorize the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, people with the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, people who know Arabic language, people who have learned from people of knowledge. So why did these people give up on their faith and their iman? What happened to them? So we need to learn from them, and we need to take heed, and we need to take lessons from these people. So a person may be a believer today, if not in the evening, maybe sometime in the future will become a disbeliever. May Allah protect us. So this is the level of the fitna, and subhanAllah, the fitna in the Deen, this is the biggest fitna, I should state. There is nothing, would you agree with me? There is no bigger fitna than fitna in our Deen. If Allah takes away our Deen, what's left? It doesn't matter if we are wealthy and healthy, if we don't have any Deen, then subhanAllah, there is nothing else, there's nothing that can replace that. There is no wealth in the world that can buy iman. There is no wealth or treasure in the world that you can exchange your iman for. So we got this iman free of charge. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes it away, there is nothing that we can buy it back with. There is no compensation for it. So this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us that this time will come. And we are seeing it, we're seeing some of it. And it will grow, because day by day things only get worse. Things only get worse. So at the end of this hadith, Rasulullah is saying, and a person would sell his faith for some worldly goods. A person would sell his faith, his iman for some